What's up, YouTube? So before we get started with this video, on First Take, they're going to be talking about how the Lakers just signed a new head coach. His name is Frank Vogel, and his assistant coach is going to be Jason Kidd. So let's see what they have to say about that.
Vogel will be coach for 1 year, and then they're going to give the job to Kidd. Kidd is there to stick a knife in Vogel's back. That's why you hire Jason Kidd in this situation, because he is going to take the job from that head coach. This is a dysfunctional franchise. Jeannie, really bad decision after a series of bad decisions. Love Jeannie Buss, but this is and the Buss family. But this is the reality. Bad decision. She's getting advice, if it is from Linda Rambis, by someone who
Linda Rambis, Kurt Rambis,
who seems to be getting the opinions from Kurt Rambis, who does not seem to understand the modern NBA, and was a terrible head coach. 99 games under 500, had bad, and it's not just that. It was a result of bad ideas like misusing Kristaps Porzingis with the Knicks and other things. Neither one is going to help the Lakers win a championship. First, I want to get to your developmental point about Jason Kidd. You're right. Jason Kidd, Mark Jackson falls into this category. I liken them to Buck Showalter in a certain way in the Major League Baseball, the manager. There are guys who are great at developing young players, instilling confidence, getting them to kind of thinking outside the box in terms of how to use them and bringing them along. The Greek Freak probably wouldn't be where he is today without Jason Kidd. Putting the ball in his hands, making him a point guard, all those things. And in fact, a very smart executive made that point to me last week. So Kidd as a developmental guy, sure. The problem is Stephen A. Vogel's also basically a developmental guy, just in a different way. The way Vogel's a developmental guy is he'll get your team to play defense. So the Lakers will be a much improved defensive team next year with Vogel as the head coach. But then they're going to have to reset when Kidd takes it, offensively, not as much. They're going to have to reset after Kidd takes his job the year after that, and LeBron is a year older if LeBron is still there.
Yeah,
and then Kidd will be brought in
Go ahead. Keep going.
to develop Lonzo Ball, right? So you have one guy to get your defense a certain place, one guy to develop your young players. By that time, LeBron's contract's mostly over if he's still there, and you ain't going to win a championship.
That's what I want to know.
So I have a couple questions is how come the Lakers didn't just make Jason Kidd the head coach to begin with? Why go through Frank Vogel and have him be the coach, and then a year or two later bring up Jason Kidd? That seems like extra steps that don't need to be taken. But I was kind of thinking maybe Frank Vogel is there to be the buffer between LeBron James and Jason Kidd, because LeBron James might not be too receptive if Jason Kidd comes in there and he's the head coach. He's kind of throwing his weight around, and now he's a shot caller. That might not go over too well with LeBron James, which it shouldn't matter because Jason Kidd's the head coach. But I think they might want to have Frank Vogel in there to have him provide a smooth transition for Jason Kidd to become the head coach in a year or two, and have Jason Kidd and LeBron James warm up to each other, if you will. So I think that's probably what's going on there. Because why would they get Frank Vogel and then have Jason Kidd be there looking over his shoulder? It just doesn't make sense. And another thing is, as far as Jason Kidd being there, so they're saying Jason Kidd being there, he's going to be able to help Lonzo Ball correct his shot and just have him being an overall better player. So was that part of the reason why Jason Kidd was brought in? Or is that just a residue of him being an assistant coach, that he can also help Lonzo Ball fix his shot and become a better player? So I'm kind of wondering what that kind of means. And also, does that mean that Lonzo Ball's not going to be traded? Because he has somebody that can help him with the shot and help him with his overall game. So that means Lonzo Ball's not going to be traded because Jason Kidd's there and he can help him, work on his game and be better. So I don't know, but let's keep going.
LeBron feel about this?
Well, first let me say this. Giannis was drafted the year before Kidd arrived.
Yeah, but he made him a point guard, sort of. He's credited with making Giannis to some degree into what he is. How does LeBron feel about this? LeBron, the mentality is that he's somewhat indifferent to it all. His camp goes out of their way to say he's had nothing to do with the coaching search. He doesn't want to have anything because he detests when people blame him, trying to act like he's controlling and pulling strings and things of that nature. Having said all of that, here's what the bottom line is. Ty Lue was offered a 3-year deal. From what I was told, LeBron's belief is very, very simple. I put you in position to get the job. I was all for you getting the job. They offered you the job because they know I wanted you to have the job. And you turned it down. I understand it was 3 years, but the bottom line is that even though it was 3 years and that may have been unfair, you come in, you wreak havoc, we win. Guess what? You position yourself to get an extension or move on to a better opportunity. What's the problem? Because I got 3 years left.
So Stephen A. is absolutely correct with that. So I was kind of thinking, Tyronn Lue, if he was really about being a head coach and helping LeBron James again and getting the Lakers back to a championship again, he should have jumped on the opportunity. Because let's be honest, I don't think there's too many head coaching jobs out there that are just knocking on Tyronn Lue's door and asking him to coach. Because everybody knows he wasn't really in charge when he won the championship with Cleveland LeBron James. LeBron James was the one who was in charge. And that's exactly why nobody wants him as being a head coach. And that's exactly why the Lakers were asking him to be a head coach, because LeBron James is really the only coach that he can get along with. Because LeBron James will have 90% of the control and 10% would go to Tyronn Lue, So it's just kind of bad. Like I said, Tyronn should have taken a contract. Tyronn Lue's agent should have told him, look, they're not trying to undercut you with years and money. They're giving you the same amount of time on the contract that you have that LeBron James has, because they don't want you any longer than what LeBron James would be there. You wouldn't be there if it wasn't for LeBron James. So why would they extend you or sign you to a longer contract, longer than what LeBron James' contract would be, when you're only there for him? So I think he should have thought that out, and Tyronn Lue's agent should have explained that to him a little bit better. And also, his agent probably said, get your foot in the door and just get in there and make some progress. Then you can make some demands. But he didn't do that. But on the other hand, I'm thinking the Lakers should have probably just gave Tyronn Lue the 5 years and whatever money he wanted within reason, so you can stop the bleeding in the area of finding a head coach and having a coach that LeBron James would get along with, because that's how you be able to progress. But instead, now they hired Frank Vogel and his backup Jason Kidd. Those are 2 extra steps that didn't need to be taken. Because now you have to worry about Frank Vogel. Everybody has to adjust to him. Then he's going to leave within a year or 2. Then you have to adjust to Jason Kidd, and everything's going to happen with him. We don't even know that's going to happen. I for some reason, I can't see Jason Kidd being a 10-year coach or a 5-year coach. I can't see him being there for a long time. So there's going to be a lot of changes that happen, and LeBron James is not going to be for much longer anyways. So I don't know. Let's just keep going.
Really 2 with an option, but I got that time left. You could have come here. And so, in other words, he's not blaming. Everybody understands why Ty Lue turned it down, because you can't be a championship coach and somebody allows you to pick your staff. Larry Brown once told me, the great Larry Brown, who coached the Sixers and coaches Detroit Pistons to the title, by the way, that Larry Brown said to me, you're finished before you even start if you don't get to pick your staff.
That's the way. See, the 3 years.
So that was another knock I have, or one of the strongest knocks I have with the Lakers organization, is saying that, if you're going to bring in Tyronn Lue, you should expect that he's going to want to bring his own staff. Because like I said in other videos before, generally when a new CEO, a new manager, a new owner, a new top dog comes into any type of business, generally they're going to bring in their own staff. They're going to bring in their own squad, and whoever was there before, either they change departments, they go someplace else, or they get let go, fired, or whatever the situation is. But generally, whoever brings the top dog brings in their own squad. And it would be stupid and would probably cause a problem if Tyronn Lue couldn't bring in his own staff and he had to continue, or he had to work with the crew that was with Luke Walton. Because that can create hostility, and Luke Walton's squad can start playing games and not assisting Tyronn Lue, and it just can get nasty. So it would just be better if you're bringing in a whole new crew and let Tyronn Lue have it. But we're not even there yet, because Tyronn Lue's not here. So I'm wondering: does Frank Vogel, does he have his own squad, his own staff? Or is he still working with Luke Walton's staff? And the same thing with Jason Kidd. Does Jason Kidd have his assistants and everything that he needs? Or is he still working with the same crew that was from Luke Walton? So that's another issue that it's a steps that did not need to be taken. And all you had to do is hire Tyronn Lue, give him the 5 years, and keep it rolling. But I don't know. Let's keep it going.
I understand. To me, if I'm the Lakers, or if I was advising Ty Lue, I'd be like, oh, yeah, I get it. Listen,
they're linking you to LeBron. He's got 3 years left. You got 3 years left. Maybe get him to get the money up a little bit to offset it, but whatever. The thing that's a deal breaker for me, if I'm Ty Lue, and he's smart to turn it down, actually, is they're picking the staff. Again, the presence of Jason Kidd means they do not plan on you serving out those 3 years. Not only is it a 3-year deal, but they're going to replace you. And let me say something about Jason Kidd. The reason I don't think he takes you to the next level, though he can develop young players, is he also seems to me to have some bad ideas with the Bucks. For example, we're going to fight over every screen. In a point guard league like the NBA is now, you get torched. And not only that, you're running your guys into the ground. It didn't work.
I'm not going to get
the defense didn't work.
I'm not going to get into all of that. One of the things I will tell you is this. It's not...
So Max is correct, but worrying about what type of schemes the coach is going to have and everything, how they're going to run plays, that's so far down on a totem pole of things that need to be taken care of. That's nothing. That can easily be taken care of. But right now, you need to worry about what type of coaches you're going to have, how long they're going to be there, how players are going to adjust to that. So that's just, I don't know. But to tell the truth, I think Frank Vogel really makes out the best out of all of this. He kind of gets the best deal because he wasn't head coaching, I don't think, at the time that the Lakers call him. So now he's the head coach of the Lakers. He's making decent money, if not a lot of money, about $5 or $6 million a year. He knows his role. He knows he's not going to be there for the longest time. He's not going to be there, through the long haul. He knows the deal with LeBron James and how LeBron James is the head coach killer. So he knows everything going in. So he can't really lose. He knows Jason Kidd's backing him up only to take his position within a year or two. I mean, so it's really a win-win situation for him. And, at the very least, he can say, look, I was the head coach to Lakers at one point. So that's going to look good on his resume. And as far as his resume for Frank Vogel, so I think he was the head coach for the Indiana Pacers. He was the head coach for the Orlando Magic, and his overall record is sitting just above 500. So I think he has 304 wins and like 291 losses. So he's sitting just above 500. I don't know where they got him from or why they thought to pick him up, but I think it was probably in spite of LeBron James saying, we're not going to get Tyronn Lue. Your head coach is going to be the coach that we decide, LeBron. You're not in charge. And in spite of you, we're going to pick up this guy named Frank Vogel. I don't know. And make his assistant be Jason Kidd. So I think that was more of a power move of showing who's in control. So I don't know. But we'll see how this works out, though. We'll see. So let's keep going.
Stabbing Vogel in the back because Vogel knew exactly what he was walking into because that was a condition under which he took the job. So that's not stabbing you in the back if you know that that's what you're walking into. He knows.
This is what I mean.
He knows.
This is what I mean. Whatever the stipulations are, Jason Kidd comes in to be the chief guy on your staff. Is his every thought from day one, I'm going to take that dude's job, yes or no?
Yes, but that's not the point. Again, it's not stabbing him in the back. In other words, they're saying to you, you don't have